Greetings fans, hyperfans, and people just lost looking for videos of cats on YouTube. As a toy collector, one of the things that I have to consider is the idea of price and value, and which one of those actually represents worth. Now, if you don't really know the difference between price and value, so imagine you go into your local comic book store and they have an action figure for sale. It's something that you want, but the price sticker on it seriously isn't tempting. Now, the price on this is £100. But if the value matches that price, then you'd spend £100 on this. But to be honest, you're probably not going to want to. You might go in a week later and find that they've got a 50% off sale. Now, if you go in and see a toy that was £100 and is now only 50, you might think that's a really good deal. But you've got to ask yourself, is the toy, or the dress, or the book, or whatever it is you're buying, actually worth the price sticker? Now, it may be worth that price to somebody, but as an individual, you have to ask yourself, is it worth that price? You look around and you see that actually other places are selling it for £20. So even if your local comic book store had it for 100 and now it's at 50, is that actually the value of the piece? Now, £20 may be the recommended retail price, but that's just the value that's put on this by the manufacturer. This is the value that they attach to this, and that they expect a shop to attach to it. They may have made those decisions based on manufacturing costs, the logistics of actually getting out into the shops, and then put a level of profit on it that they deem to be reasonable. Now, at that stage, again, you've kind of got to say to yourself, okay, is that worth that to me? And nobody else can answer that question except for you. I mean, if it's worth it to you, then, you know, take a crisp £20 note and go and buy the figure. If you've spent £20 last week and you've come in this week and found it for £5, you may feel a little bit conned, but actually no, you've paid £15 to have it for that additional week. Time is money. If you passed on it for £20, it goes down to a fiver, and somebody else comes in and buys it for that, then again, that's not really the shop's fault. You've just missed out on a great price. Now, the other thing that happens is you may see this online for a fiver with the caveat on it, or make me an offer. Again, you have to make that decision on value. You could send in an offer. You could say something ridiculously low, and you never know. The person selling it may be so desperate to get rid of it that they will take that 50p. But if they turn around and say no, then that's their prerogative as well. They're placing their idea of value on the figure. Now, a lot of different stores have stuff for a lot of different prices. If you're a big user of eBay to buy stuff, you will know that there's this one seller whose prices seem to be absolutely astronomical, but that's the value they've placed on it. You never know. Some guy might actually click that and think that he's getting a pretty good deal. A lot of independent retailers sell their stuff at prices that don't really match up with the recommended retail price. That may be because they're importing it. That may be because they're only dealing in such small numbers that they're not getting good deals from Hasbro, Bandai, Lego, whoever. That's the profit margin they have to make in order to run the store. And sometimes you'll avoid that store if you can find it cheaper somewhere else. Sometimes you may go to that store because you like the guys running it. You know you're going to get good customer service from them. You know that if something goes wrong, they'll solve it. That's all part of value. Now recently, a toy that I was after pretty much just so I could cut him up turned up on a Facebook selling group. I wasn't going to spend the recommended retail price on it because it was something like $100, and I really didn't think that he was worth it. I saw it come up and it was a really good price for the figure. I think he was about £20 plus postage, but it was a little bit more than I personally had valued it at. I'd had to set an internal price in my head and stick to it. Part of that controls how much I hoard toys, part of it controls how much of my very sparse income I can actually spend on something as indulgent as plastic. But eventually this guy dropped his price, and he actually dropped it down below the price that I was prepared to pay for it. And the moment I saw that, I leapt on it, I PayPal'd the guy over the money, and he's sent this out to me. Now this guy is a really good seller. He's had really good feedback, so I know this is going to be really well packaged. I think it's actually sort of still in, yeah, it's still in the box, which again is something that a lot of people will value, but to me is not such an important thing. Let's see. Yeah, he got that originally for 30, so I probably paid about just under half what this guy did. You know, we didn't put guns to each other's heads. We just made those decisions. And he's a very, very cool looking figure. Quite tiny. Comes with sniper rifle, collector's coin that I didn't even know was going to be in there, couple of pistols, and yeah, that's in really good condition. Now I'm not going to do a review of this guy because he is a slightly older toy. I did get him pretty much just to do a custom, but to me he's definitely been worth the money that I paid for him, and I'm very glad that I held out until I got him for that price. And if I hadn't got him for that price, I'd have lived with it. That's where value and price meet. The one thing I haven't talked about in this video is means to pay. You know, because my videos are about toy robots. But what if we're not talking about toys? What if we're talking about a roof over your head? What if we're talking about surgery or medicine? Now obviously each of those things have a value. Those values may actually be even more than the price. But the thing that I'll leave you to think about is that when it's not plastic crack, but something that you need to live, how much should means to pay affect the price? I've been Macula. This has been KFC Micro Robo. If you like the videos, hit subscribe, leave a comment below, and until next time, if you're keeping the mint in package, you're not a toy collector, you're a box collector.
Nice!